Hey guys, I want to make this video to help me have a better understanding and maybe help somebody else on how this input speed sensor for a 4L60 works. I had a Chevy Silverado, had through a code 0717 input speed sensor loss. Pulled the transmission connector, checked powers and grounds. They were fine. I could light a 4-amp test light from power to ground and ground to power on both these. Monitored, took 12 volts to the signal wire, tickled it. TCM showed an RPM signal. So my wiring was good and my power and ground was good. So I just called a bad sensor. You have to take the transmission out and split it apart to get to this sensor. Got it out, bench tested it, hooked to 12 volts, monitored the signal wire. Showed 10 volts solid, no fluctuation, putting a wrench next to it, wave in front of it, no change in that voltage on signal. So I just called a bad sensor. Bought another one. New GM sensor. Hooked to 12 volts to it, monitored the signal wire, took a wrench to it, touch it, wave in front of it, no change. Solid 8 volts, different. Resistance was different, but it's still not performing like I thought it would. I expected either 0 volts, touch it, and it goes to 12 volts, or the other way around, 12 volts and touch a wrench to it and it goes to 0 volts. Wasn't doing what I thought it would. So I thought, well, I bought a bad sensor. So I sent that one back, got another one, same thing, 8 volts on the sensor, no matter what I did, solid 8 volts. I don't have a scope, so I don't know what it was doing exactly. All I could see what's on multimeter showing me 8 volts. I thought, well, 2 new ones are doing exactly the same, which were different than the old one. So it must not act like I thought it would. So I installed the last new one I bought in the transmission, got it in, and it cured my problem. So obviously it doesn't work like I thought it would. I just thought it was just a regular Hall effect. It would go to 0 to 12 volts, no matter, depending on what you put in front of it. I'm going to include a video of this sensor hooked up to the harness under my truck, but I hooked the new sensor up under the truck and put a drill bit in a drill, and it showed a very consistent RPM signal on my scan tool. But hooking up this sensor to the harness under the truck, I could get an RPM signal if I got the drill bit close enough to the sensor. It started it on the sensor wire, started at 10 volts, showed a steady 10 volt, but it slowly crept up the longer I had it hooked up. So there's something wrong with this sensor, but I can't see what the signal wire is doing because I don't have a scope. But obviously there's something wrong. The new sensor hooked up to the harness under the truck and put a drill with a drill bit next to it. Showed a very consistent RPM, and it didn't have to be close to it. This one, if I got the drill bit down touching it, it would show an RPM signal. But I don't know what the difference, obviously it needed to be closer to 8 volts on the signal wire, and I don't know what the signal looked like. I'm assuming it's a square wave, but it's too fast that I can't see it on the multimeter. So I don't know exactly what was wrong with this one, but I know it was bad, and I replaced it, and it cured my problem. I'm just very curious. I have a curious mind on exactly how it works. Evidently there's a signal there that I can't read with a multimeter, but it's not acting like a regular Hall effect sensor, 3-wire Hall effect. but maybe somebody smarter than me can tell me how it works, but I'm just really curious. Thanks, guys. I wanted to add that there is a published article on these sensors for 4L60 about the sensor losing ground inside the transmission. The cure is to clip the ground wire and ground it to the valve body inside the case. I read that before pulling the transmission, and I pulled the pan off, tested at the connector inside the transmission. Still had good power and ground inside. They would light a 4 amp test light inside, so I knew about that before pulling the transmission. I was hoping that was going to be my problem. Just ground it right there and then have solve my issue. I wasn't that lucky.